the full exchange, Admiral Levine.
What would you say to folks who think that they're being reasonable by saying, why can't children just wait till they're 18?
Adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. What if you're going through the wrong puberty? What if you inside feel that you are female, but now you're going through a male puberty?
Okay, here's the problem. Here's the problem, Admiral Levine. What if you're wrong? You're actually going to destroy a child's body? You're going to make sure that that child has no chance of ever becoming who he or she was intended to be or wants to be someday? I mean, my gosh, you're going through 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. These are tough years. And then you layer in something like that, where adults in positions of authority are trying to suggest that a child really knows their gender and needs to be that gender, and then go through the operation, by the way, to be that gender. I mean, that is absolutely insane. You do what you want. You know what? You're 21 years. By the way, guess what? Rachel Levine did that whole thing when Rachel was 54 years old, a full-grown adult. And yet you've got representatives in government saying that this stuff should be happening to kids. We don't allow them to drink. We don't allow them to smoke. We don't allow them to vote. We don't allow them to drive until they're 16. And yet somehow this idea that you can just pick your gender, just pick it because that's what you feel like at that given time. Forget the fact that, those years are challenging years for anyone, even under the very best of circumstances. You're setting yourself up for a major problem in society. And this is why, as disgusted as we all are with Washington, D.C., we need to care. We need to care because if we don't, you're going to have a pretty messed up society and a lot of really unhappy people and a lot of kids that made the wrong decisions because they were pressured into it. There's peer pressure, there's social media pressure. I want to share with you a study that you're not going to hear about. If you go and do a Google search or whatever, they're not going to talk about this. This is a study that was done in conjunction with a psychologist, at Northwestern University. And it was looking at rapid onset gender dysphoria in kids. And what they found was that it was dominated primarily by very high intellect females. 75% of the kids were high intellect females that decided they wanted to change their gender. And they had a history of all kinds of other mental challenges. So when someone has mental health challenges and they walk into the psychiatrist or the psychologist's office and the go-to move, because this is what the government is telling you, including Joe Biden's Health and Human Services Department, is, oh, maybe you're just in the wrong body. Maybe you actually should be a different gender. And then you're going to actually embark on these operations. You understand the consequences of that. I hope everybody understands the consequences of that. The consequences are pretty darn gory, frankly, if you ask me. And then you're stuck with that basically the rest of you. There's no turning back. You lose certain parts, that's that. And that's what they're not conveying to these young kids. They're glorifying this in really heinous ways. The other interesting component to this study was that there's a social component in that if somebody else is doing it, if they hear about it enough, they are influenced by that. Great. Because we're hearing about it a lot, including from the government of the United States of America. So it's pretty shameful stuff, if you ask me. A reason to care a lot about what's happening and who is in charge, because this is going to affect the legislation in the future. Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.